The long-awaited Super Mario Bros. Movie is finally hitting theatres, and thanks to the wonderful team over at Universal Pictures Australia, I had a chance to check out the movie ahead of its global release. So here are my thoughts. Woohoo! Let's go! While working underground to fix a water main, Brooklyn plumbers Mario and brother Luigi are transported down a mysterious pipe and one day into a magical new world. But when the brothers are separated, Mario embarks on an epic quest to find Luigi. Mario has had a little bit of a rocky history, being transported onto our screens. There were a number of cartoon series in the 80s and 90s which were fairly decent, but then of course the live action movie had to come along and ruin everything for everyone. That really, look, honestly, I have a soft spot for the live action movie, but it is a really, really bad film, and because of that and because of its bad reception, Nintendo hasn't made a Mario movie or a TV show for 30 years. So finally we do have the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So this one has been a long time coming. Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario, and Nintendo and the team at Illumination have brainstormed this film and they have worked on it tirelessly. They had this great cooperation between the two companies, Nintendo and Illumination, that I believe gave the final say on pretty much everything to Nintendo. Nintendo really wanted this to be their baby. They wanted to make sure that they oversaw everything that was going on in this movie. So you know going into this, you're in good hands. I gotta say from the top, I really enjoyed this. This is a really, really fun movie, and you can absolutely tell that this is a labor of love, not only from Nintendo, but from Illumination, who have obviously made some liberties on their work. Illumination has a bit of a reputation amongst animation fans in particular, because of their films in the past have been very silly, they've been very slapstick. I mean, when we think of Illumination, we think of the Minions, but the Super Mario Bros. Movie is something very different from Illumination. So if you have any kind of preconceived notions about what Illumination might do to this movie or whatever else, don't worry, you're in good hands, because I think they've absolutely taken a backseat and said to Nintendo and Miyamoto, they've said, you take the reins on this one and you do what you've got to do. Now, of course, this follows a very traditional Mario story. It follows that Mario formula that we all know and love, and it is, of course, a grand adventure where the team has to go out and save somebody from the clutches of Bowser. Usually, it's Mario and Luigi having to save Princess Peach from Bowser, but this time around it is Mario and Peach and Toad out to save Luigi from Bowser. So it has been a little bit contemporized, and I think that's great. It freshens it up a little bit. It makes it not so predictable. It makes it something, it feels like something that we haven't seen before, which I think is really good. So they have this really nice balance between traditional and a little bit fresh. There's not a huge story here. That is really the story in itself, and I feel like if you've played a lot of Mario games before, you kind of know how the story is going to go. It's a 90-minute film, so it's not very long, and it does feel short, but there's a lot of stuff packed into this. There are so many Easter eggs and a few cameos, not as many cameos as you'd think, like a whole lot of sequences that pay homage to classic Mario games. We've got stuff that pays homage to the classic, of course, side-scrolling games. There are these really fantastic sequences. For example, there's a scene at the very beginning where Mario and Luigi are running through this construction site, and it kind of follows them in a kind of side-scrolling fashion and over these obstacles and moving things and jumping over things and sliding, and the virtual camera just kind of follows them in this side-scrolling manner. So you get these great little throwbacks to the classic games. You get some like Nintendo 64 reference in there, Mario 64 references, whether that be in the way like the princess's castle is depicted, or some of the music that comes into it. Of course, we've got Mario Kart sequences where they all hop in Mario Karts and drive down the Rainbow Road. I'm not spoiling anything. This is all stuff that's in the trailer. And of course, we've got the battle between Mario and Kong, which is a bit Super Smash Brothers. The music, the score here is terrific too, because it really pulls in music from all different eras of Mario. There's the classic Mario themes that we know, like the Super Mario Brothers theme. You've got Bowser's theme in there. You've got stuff that's pulled in from the Nintendo 64 games. There's stuff that's coming from like Mario Galaxy, and there's stuff from Donkey Kong, and everything is just kind of thrown into this. And it's this whole kind of blender of all these great little throwbacks to the games, and it just really feels just so authentic. Now, this is not to the detriment of the movie, but because the narrative does feel so thin, it almost does feel like there's not a lot of movie in here, and I kind of would have hoped for maybe a little bit more. There's definitely going to be sequels to this. Let's be quite honest, this movie is going to make a bucket load of money. This movie is going to get close, if not surpass, $1 billion at the box office. There's going to be sequels, and there's absolutely little threads in this movie that open up possibilities for sequels. Of course, as always these days, don't leave the cinema until the credits are finished rolling, because there's a couple of little things in there that will throw to potential, you know, future ideas, things that might happen in future sequels down the line. At that, the movie does also feel very isolated. It does feel its very own thing. So it's not like a huge thing that's been set up to build a franchise. At that though, it does very much feel like an origin story because of that thin narrative. You know, we have so many of these origin stories that if we're talking about like a superhero origin story, the narrative feels very thin because it's all about just kind of setting up the characters in the world. And I feel like this movie really does that on a large level, and it does that on a really great level as well. I think it does it in a way that there's stuff there for the older fans. People who love the games are going to come into this and just love this world building here, and they're going to, again, notice all the things from all the games that they love and have great memories with. But it's also a really great way to build this world for people who might not be so familiar with Mario. There are probably kids out there, there are definitely kids out there that don't have Nintendos and probably have never played Mario before. And I feel like this movie handles that introduction for that subset of the audience, as well as the subset of kind of diehard fans or casual fans who are going into this movie as well. Another thing that I didn't love about the movie is that, of course, we are going on this grand adventure to save Luigi, which means there's not a lot of screen time with Mario and Luigi together. Luigi comes into the movie and they have some great sequences together, but I would have loved to have seen some more Mario and Luigi scenes together. I mean, this is the Super Mario Brothers movie. I want to see these two guys out there on the big screen alongside Peach and alongside Toad doing their thing. But again, it's a good way to kind of introduce this franchise to the audiences. But we just know that going into any potential sequels, there's going to be a lot of Mario and Luigi time on the screen together, and I'm really looking forward to that. I just wish we got more in this one. Speaking of characters, the characterizations here are really wonderful. I know a lot of people out there are going into this with a lot of trepidation because of the voices particularly. They have changed the voices vastly from the video games. Now, Chris Pratt is not talking like a Mario like this. He's just talking normally. He's just talking like Chris Pratt. And a lot of people, even me, I will agree, at first, when you first saw that first trailer, it was a little bit like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Where's the Mario voice? But I will say, they do explain it away in the movie. There's a little bit of a throwaway gag at the beginning of the film where we kind of explain why. And after like 10 minutes, maybe even earlier than that, like 5 minutes, you're just kind of used to it. You're used to the fact that Mario's not talking like this the whole film. He's not running around crazy like this. I mean, that would actually get very, very annoying. And look, I'll say it. Chris Pratt did a really great job here. Making this screen version of Mario his own, I think it's okay to kind of have that differentiation between the games and the movie. Look, this is a movie that is aimed very much squarely towards a very young audience. There is a lot of stuff in there for the older fans to enjoy, but it is very much a family film. Don't expect anything more than that. Do not go into this expecting like the big, epic Mario movie for the adults, yeah! No, this is a kid's film, and we can't be too harsh on it. You know me, I like to rate and review a movie based on what the movie is. You can't hold this movie up to the standards of something else or something that it isn't. And I think this is a perfectly serviceable film for its audience. Adult fans are gonna love it, kid fans are gonna love it. It's a great movie for families to go and check out, and it was just a whole lot of fun. I had so much fun with this, no matter what kind of narrative issues I had with it or anything like that. This is a bundle of fun, and I'm looking forward to more. So at that, I will be giving the Super Mario Brothers movie a 3.5 out of 5. And at that, I want to know your thoughts on the Super Mario Brothers movie. If you haven't had the chance to see it just yet, what are your anticipation levels like for this one? As always, join the conversation down in the comments below. I have got a whole bunch of Mario content coming out on my channel, so make sure you stick around for that. Until next time, take it easy.